Welcome to today's edition of Employability Fridays. I am Brian Oji. And today we're going to be talking about where the jobs come from and what HR managers are usually looking out for in terms of the value system of the right candidate. But before we talk about that, I just want us to let's discuss the question: why do we teach employability or entrepreneurial skill? Why is it important that we teach employability skills or entrepreneurial skills? Now, when you look in the world, one of the leading causes of several of the problems we see around the world is world poverty. Many of the health problems you see in developing society and developing countries is because of poverty. Many of the security challenges you see is connected to poverty. And so in building a better world for us all, it's important that we tackle poverty. So it's important that we tackle poverty. And there are many ways to tackle poverty, but one of the ways that we know that can be done is if we teach people to be value-adding members of society so that they can engage in commerce. You see, commerce is about you bringing what you have, and I bring what I have, and then we can exchange. And with that, we can create value and meet our needs. So one of the major ways we can fight poverty is teaching people to be able to produce value. Because if you can produce value, then you can generate income. And if you can generate income, you can take yourself out of poverty. You see, and that value we refer to is products or services, products and services. However, the products and services are created by skills. You see, skills are the foundational units for value creation. Because if you don't have skills, then how are you going to produce? So skills are what we use to produce. So whether they are technical skills or the less technical ones, because apparently all of them are kind of technical, right? Skills are the foundational units for value creation, and that is why we teach skills. Because if we don't teach skills, then people would never be able to produce the kind of value that they need to produce to be able to generate the income that they need to drag themselves out of poverty and lift the entire world to a better place. You see, a lot of times people complain about or decry the absence of opportunity and say because there's no opportunity, the challenge to young people is that they don't have opportunity. But I keep saying, take Nigeria, my country, for example. For so many years, there has been a major problem in the power sector. We've not been able to have uninterrupted power at all. Even though the situation has improved somewhat, it's still not where it's supposed to be. However, I'm thinking, if you have 4 hours of electricity, 5 hours of electricity, and you haven't done anything with 5 hours of electricity, don't think that you automatically be able to do something with 24 hours of electricity. If you had all the amenities, if you had a phenomenal government, if you had all the great roads, and everything was in place in terms of infrastructure, but you don't have the skill. You don't have the skill to produce. So we're all just going to be happy, but happy and unproductive. So in order for us to be productive, we must teach skills. And people must acquire skills. Right? Because with skills, then there's productivity. And interestingly, productivity is what can raise any economy out of poverty. So by productivity, we can create our way out of poverty. We can create our way out of bad governance. You can create your way out of a fallen system that kind of doesn't permit people to be as successful as they should. With productivity, you can create your way out. And so that's why we teach skills. It's so important because the basic units for value creation are skills. With skills, you can do anything. With skills, you can ensure that, imagine you learned how to bake or how to sew. See, no matter the country where you are, no matter what the economy is like, if you can bake something good enough, you're going to find somebody who's going to pay for it. See, so for you, that skill is capital. So anytime we're teaching people skills, we're putting in their hands capital with which they can create the kind of life that they want to live. So that's why it's important that we teach skills. I just thought to mention that before we get into where the jobs come from. But okay, let's even go on and say, what are employability skills? So this is about employability skills. So there's several skills, like I mentioned, cake making, right? There's several skills. So a particular bouquet of skills is referred to as employability skills, and that's what Employability Fridays are all about. What are employability skills? Employability skills refer to the competencies that enable an individual to be able to find work, keep the job, or advance your career from one position to another, being a value-adding member of an organization. So I'll take it again. Employability skills are those set of skills that help an individual find work, keep work, or advance a career, being a value-adding member of an organization. And we're going to be discussing those subjects within these series of live events on Employability Fridays. And there's several employability skills. There's so many. Some people say they're 24, some people say they're 12, some people say they're 106. Those numbers. But I mean, the definition gives you an idea of what we're talking about. So when you talk about things like effective communication skills, all right, critical thinking and problem solving, you talk about imaginativeness, inventiveness, all right. We talk about your personal branding, your appearance. All right. So all these are part of employability skills. Teamwork, very important. How are you able to work in a group? Project management, all these are part of employability skills. But it's that bouquet of skills that give you the opportunity to find work, to keep work, or to advance your career. So who is this broadcast designed for? This broadcast is designed for, first of all, anybody who is remotely interested in job creation, entrepreneurship development. Maybe you're even a state governor or president, or you are in charge of some ministry in a government in your country. This broadcast is for you. But primarily, we are targeting undergraduates. Okay, these are people with a particular level of education and are just about to enter the labor market full time, or they just entered between the last 2 years, so within 0 to 2 years. So those are the target audience for these broadcasts, undergraduates. So we're talking to people who have a certain level of education. And when we talk about graduates, we're talking about university education, or let me say tertiary education, because you may or may not have gone, you may have gone to a polytechnic. All of them are inside that categorization. So those are the people who this is designed for. And what are some of the topics to be explored? Today we talked about that we're going to talk about where do jobs come from. See, where do jobs come from? I want a job, I want to get a job, but if you can understand the genesis of it, where jobs come from, you will understand how to project yourself into an available position. So where do jobs come from? That's one of the topics we're going to be talking about. And then the hidden job market. Okay, so within this series, we're going to discuss the hidden job market. Is there a hidden job market? Oh yes, there is. See, it's not every opportunity that you get to advertise. See, it's not every time that you get to call the recruitment and then invite many people and scout through thousands of CVs in order to find that one candidate. Not every time. A lot of times, jobs are being filled on something like a referral basis, but they are never publicized. That is a hidden job market and it exists. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to look into your application documents, things like your resume and your cover letter, and your social media profile, what it says about you with respect to the job search process. We're going to look at that as well. And then we will be how to navigate the job market in a developing economy, how to navigate. See, there are certain characteristics that are you will always find them in a developing economy. Right? And so if you are just about to enter the job market, so that you don't join the statistics, let's say 71% of young people under the age of 35 are unemployed in XYZ country. You won't be one of them. You shouldn't be one of them. And that's why we are teaching employability skills. Okay, now these are not very long sessions. Okay, these are the designed to be quick. So we're going to just give it to you very, very quick bullet points, even though we have an online school hosted on Teachable. All right, so it's inversion.teachable.com, and it's we have a course there that says how to get a job in a focused organization. It's longer, so it's a more long form way of trying to appreciate the skills, the orientation, the knowledge required to get a job and keep a job. But for these employability Fridays, probably this first one is going to be the longest because we have to give a background. We're going to go straight to the point and wrap it up quickly, I hope. So where do jobs come from? So you say that there's a job opening. Before you see an opening on a website, on a newspaper, what happened? Firstly, jobs usually emanate within an organization, all right? And those organizations are set up for a purpose, okay? So for you to know where jobs come from, the first thing is to find out, why do organizations exist, all right? Organizations are set up for a definite purpose. See, some organizations are set up to make and sell laptops, and some, like Inversion, for example, we are set up to take employability and entrepreneurial skills to young people in developing economies across the world. That is what we wake up to do every day. That's what keeps us up at night. You understand? So every organization is set up to do something. All right. So in understanding where jobs come from, the first question to ask yourself is, why does this organization exist? This organization that you are looking to become a part of, why does it exist? Why does this organization exist? So when you can answer the question why the organization exists, and the organization answers the question for themselves, they tell you why they exist in the first place. This is why we exist. All right. Take Apple. What does Apple exist to do? Apple, the company. Apple makes phones, they make computers, they make software. See, they have what they do. So now, because that organization exists to create this kind of value in society, or to produce this product or service, and I'm not talking about the core mission statement like, oh, we're here to make the world a better place. Like we say we're creating a world that works. That's a nice mission statement, but what we do is we provide training in employability and entrepreneurial skills. So that's what I'm talking about. So what Apple does is that they make and sell these devices, among other things. Now, within the making and the selling of those devices, there is a value chain. What do you mean by value chain? It's different people contributing to the final output. The final output, which is to generate income into the company and, of course, change the world and make some kind of impact in the world. That's the final output. So there's the guy who's going to design, right? And there's the guy who's going to, let me use, there's the lady who's going to design, because, especially for that sector, we're trying to get more women to be active in the tech sector. So that's awesome. So let's use lady for this example. There's a lady who's going to design. There's a lady who's going to program, right? There's a lady who's going to design a marketing plan. All right. There's the one who's going to carry out sales. There's the one who's going to be at the point of sale. All right. There's one who's going to design the way the money comes in. So all that is the value chain. So within that value chain are where we have jobs. Jobs are within the value chain. So jobs are created within a value chain. So that's where jobs come from. So every job, see, it's not as if we created a job because of you. So say I want a job for myself. So if you're looking for a job, the job was not created because of you. The job was created because of the value chain. So that's the first thing you must recalibrate your thinking. So to say, I need a job so badly. Why? Because I want to pay my bills, because I want to have a great life. I want to get into a relationship. I want to get married. Whatever it is, it's not about you. Okay? The jobs come because of necessities within a value chain. So perspective number one that every job seeker must have is, jobs don't come because some guy started a company and has become so big and wants to put money in the hands of many people. No, jobs come because there is something done within a specific value chain. By getting a job, you're going to plug yourself into an existing value chain. So when there is a gap within that value chain, for example, if there is nobody to design the phones, we're using the Apple example, if there's nobody to design the phones, then there is what is called a vacancy. All right, because it's vacant. All right, so that's the etymology of the word you see in the newspapers, the vacancy. I'm trying to check out for vacancy, but that's where it came from, because this is a value chain, and now here it is vacant. So we need somebody to fill in this vacancy, right? So that's where the jobs come from. So what is the, so you that are trying to get this job, you know, it's like a trade-off. All right, the job seeker, the mindset of a job seeker is that what you want in terms of salary, you know, you want the money, you want to build a life, you want a house, you want to build prestige. There are many reasons why you want a job. There are many reasons why it takes you that you don't have one, because there's so many things you would love to do that you are unable to do because you don't have a source of income. All right, now a job seeker, characteristically, what a job seeker does is that all those things he or she wants, he or she puts it as secondary. Okay, it is secondary in the job search process. So every time you go for an interview, don't find yourself thinking about the things you want. You know, some people get so excited about, oh, I want, I'm gonna get, and they get into the interview and they're just excited about what they're gonna get, that they forget about the primary reason. It's about what you're gonna give. It's about the value you're gonna add. It's about you filling up the vacancy. All right? It's about you filling up the vacancy. So the job search process for you actually begins when you realize that, number one, not about you. Number two, whatever skills and competencies that you have are not relevant to the extent to which they do not meet the requirements of the vacancy. All right? So it's about projecting your own skills into the necessity or the requirements of an existing vacancy. And that's why you must study your job description. See, some people just apply anywhere because I need a job. Those are the guys who kick in for jobs for so many years, and don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. See, there's a vacancy, there's an opening. This is what the company needs to get done. Can you do it? Yes. I'm going to talk to you and show you how I can do it. I want to show you that I am the best candidate to get this done. That is the mindset of a job seeker. So it begins with understanding the vacancy. And to understand the vacancy, you must understand the value chain. To understand the value chain, you must understand the organization. The long and short of everything I just said is research the company. Okay? You've got to understand the company. You've got to research the company. You've got to know what the company is all about. By knowing what they're all about, then you then think, how can I match my skills to the requirements of the vacancy? And then when you can match, because a lot of people say, I want to write a resume. Take a resume, for example. I want to write a resume and cover letter. They just start writing. It shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. What should happen is that you should get a plain sheet of paper or laptop or wherever it is you can use to write. And looking at an existing vacancy, you can then list out what you think are your skills and how your skills can meet whatever need that the organization has at the time. Right? So that's how it's done. And I mean, I hope we can get to that later on some other session where we talk about, a lot of times people don't even get jobs from unsolicited requests. You know, it's unsolicited. But they are able to project themselves into maybe the mind of a HR manager or the mind of the CEO in a way that they're like, oh, I've got to get this person. You see, there's a series that is inside our employability manual, titled "What Every CEO Wants You to Know." You must understand something, that whoever is giving you a job is not necessarily doing you a favor. Of course not. Of course, they're giving you an opportunity, but when there's a vacancy, is a cry for help. See, the company needs help. They are looking for a helper, but people are busy trying to help themselves, so they don't understand that it's time for you to help. So that's where there's usually a disconnect. So how HR managers determine the availability of a position is when there's a vacancy, and then the value system, because that is the topic for the day. The value system that they are always looking out for is the individual who puts what he's looking for as secondary, and whatever the organization needs as primary. See, and if you are out there, you are looking for a job, you're looking for opportunity, you're hoping that somebody can help you, upgrade yourself. And so some people are genuinely, you're skilled. You've got a lot of skills. You've learned so many things through the years, but you just haven't found the opportunity. Try this. All right, try this. Write a letter to any of the organizations. Maybe pick like 5 organizations that you know. Write a letter this way. Begin your letter, of course, the way you begin any formal letter. I'm sure you know how to do that. But write about, number one, what you know about the company, a challenge you think they're facing at the moment, and why you think you have the skills to solve it. What you know about the company, the challenge you think they're facing at the moment, and why you think you have the skills to solve it. Send that letter to the managing director and see what happens within the next couple of days. All right. So it's important that we begin to, for job seeker, calibrate your thinking in a way that ensures that you have the right value system, which is, my needs are secondary. The requirements of the vacancy is primary. I'm going to focus my energies and attention studying and understanding the vacancy, right? The opportunity, what is the organization trying to get done, and how can I help them get it done? We're going to stop here this week and continue next week discussing something interesting about creating employment, or rather finding work, keeping work, and growing a career in a way that you're a value-adding member of an organization. See you again.